welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. Today we are diving into an incredibly important topic: how to consistently show up for yourself. Personally, this was not as simple as it may seem. In 2019, I hit a pretty low in my life. I was not showing up for myself. I didn't even understand what it meant to show up for myself and how important it is. When I reflect on my teens and my early 20s, my depression and my anxiety almost defined me in that stage of my life. I really had no idea how to cope with situations, and I didn't really know how to control my emotions. And if I was feeling down, I felt that so deeply that it then turned into days, weeks, and months of me just feeling like I was walking under a dark cloud. Beautiful life could be happening all around me, and I was just so stuck in the darkness of my mind. I definitely did not want to feel sad anymore. I was so tired of being depressed. I was so tired of battling my anxiety mentally and physically. I needed to know how to get out of my depression episodes that I was so frequently having. I did not know how to control it. I let my emotions really take over me, and I wanted to change it. I just could not live like this anymore. When I reflect on that time and I think about the state of mind that I was in, one of the things that stands out is that I didn't know exactly what it was that I needed to work on. I didn't have the mindset that I had the ability to change my perspective and to approach life in a different way. There are a few things that got me really anxious and really depressed, but one thing that was reoccurring all the time: the feeling of not being good enough, to be loved, to be cared for, to be chosen. I truly felt like I was not good enough. I am not just talking about relationships. I am talking about friendships, work, personal, like just all of it. If something happened to, in my mind back then, prove to me that I was not good enough, like there was some friction, that is all that I needed as proof to continue to believe that I was not good enough. And I think the saddest part where you don't feel good enough is that you could be having great relationships, great friendships, people that love you, people that consistently show up for you, but if you do not feel good about yourself, it is so hard to believe that anybody else feels that way for you. That is what I consistently kept on fighting, because yes, there were situations, there were relationships that were not good for me and that put me in a depressive state, but I also had friends and family that loved me so much, and I could not focus on the love. I focused on the negative, I focused on the friction, and I've continued to feed into the idea that I was not good enough. Regardless of what was happening around me, even if it was good, my mind just could not accept that, because I could not figure out how to make myself feel good enough. I was sick and tired of feeling that way. I could not feel that way anymore. I just couldn't. And I had to put in the work. I could no longer just listen to motivational speeches, listen to podcasts, read books. I had to put action into what I thought would make me feel better. And today I want to specifically talk about showing up for myself. I identified specifically what I was trying to change, and I figured out a way on how to target that and put action into it. Now that I reflect back on that time, I do have a lot of appreciation for everything that I have gone through, because it got me to where I am today. It pushed me to seek something different. It also now has me on a path where I am consistently showing up for myself. My mental health, my personal relationships, my professional relationships have improved drastically. I am definitely not an expert, but I have gone through my challenges and I've overcome a lot. I share my story and my experience because that is what helped me by watching videos like this, and that is what I want to share with you, my community here on my channel. So let's get right into it. So I broke it down into 5 different sections, tips, recommendations that have helped me a lot to consistently show up for myself. Let's define what it means to show up for yourself. Showing up for yourself means prioritizing your well-being, setting boundaries, and investing time and energy into your personal growth. Here are 5 actionable steps that can transform your life. Prioritize self-care. Start by acknowledging your needs. Take intentional steps to prioritize your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Schedule regular self-care such as meditation, hobbies, physical activity. When I had to start putting action behind all the personal growth things that I was consuming, I realized that I had to start off small. When you try to just do so many things, if you are not used to that, it will be harder to maintain the habits that you are trying to introduce into your life. My recommendation is to start off small. Target one area first, and once you got that down, once it's starting to become a habit or it is a hobby that you've discovered you love to do and you know that you're going to continue to do it, that is when you start adding more things into your routine, adding more things into your lifestyle. Definitely recommend to start off small. Don't try take on all of it all at once, because it probably will be difficult because you're changing. When you try to make a change, you might be met with resistance. I fell back into the way that I would cope with things because that is what I was used to. Trying to change it took much longer and a lot more effort than me resorting back to what I was doing before. Part of this is making self-care part of your routine. Identify the things that make you happy, that are going to add to your self-care, and make those things non-negotiable. For me, it is my skincare routine, listening to music, reading a book. Those are the things that I do for my self-care. And if you don't know where to start off small. Personalize your self-care. What things are important to you? What do you want to make sure that you do for you to prioritize your mental health, to prioritize your physical health, to just build a good foundation of what self-care means to you? Self-care, very important to begin showing up for yourself. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries is hard, and I believe it's something that you consistently have to work on and that you develop with time. And first, you have to identify what your boundaries are, right? My experience in setting boundaries, because I was not showing up for myself and because I did not feel good enough for anyone, for anything, for even myself, my boundaries were all over the place. I didn't have boundaries, I would say, because I just wanted validation. I just wanted someone to make me feel like I was loved. It was so hard to make me feel loved because I didn't love myself and I wasn't showing up for myself. That also contributed to a lack of boundaries because I just was willing to allow things just to have people around me, have a boyfriend, just to have friends, just to have someone to call. Setting boundaries was a hard one for me. Once I started to set boundaries, my life really changed because I started to prioritize myself. It is crucial, okay? Setting boundaries can really contribute to a more fulfilling, a more happy, a more peaceful life. You yourself are going to have to define what your boundaries are, both professionally and personally. When you have a boundary, communicate it assertively and without guilt. You have to remember that you are doing this for yourself and you are prioritizing yourself. You're showing up for yourself, and boundaries are healthy. You are letting people know, like, this is what I am willing to tolerate and this is what I am not willing to tolerate. Be assertive and don't have guilt. Now, let's say you do feel a little bit guilty. They say, well, you've changed. Remember that your boundaries are an act of self-love, self-respect, and self-preservation. That is important. I'm just gonna say this: when you are making a change in your life and people are used to you one way, you might get a little bit of resistance from others as well. And that's just because, you know, they're used to you one way, and seeing you change, it could be difficult. And have empathy. Know that you're doing this for yourself, that you are learning how to respect yourself and set boundaries. Practice self-compassion. When I didn't feel that I was good enough, imagine how hard I was being on myself. And I was extremely, extremely critical of myself, critical of the decisions that I was making, and extremely critical of the way that I looked, of the way that I felt. And changing the mindset of having more compassion for myself, it took time. Be kind to yourself, especially in challenging times. Acknowledge your feelings, but without judgment. It is okay to be sad. It is okay to have those feelings. Do not judge yourself on them. That was one of the hardest things that I had to realize when I was in a really low period. I really went into a spiral of judging my decisions. My judgment was so out of whack, and that just got me into a lower and lower state of mind because I did not believe in myself. I didn't believe the ability of me changing things in my life. Start treating yourself with kindness and compassion in the same way that you do for your friends when they're having a challenging time. Treat yourself in the same way that you treat them, with lots of love and lots of compassion. Validate your feelings and acknowledge them. Just do not suppress. Suppressing your feelings is, oh man, it is so hard. A lot of my anxiety that I was having, it was because I was suppressing my feelings. I was not talking about them. I just did not know how to cope with it. But once I started to accept, it is okay that your feelings got hurt. It is okay that you're heartbroken. Like, when I started to allow myself to feel those feelings, the quicker that I was able to move on and heal from those emotions. You don't know how to be kind to yourself. Where do I start? Replace your self-criticism with positive affirmations and self-encouragement. Mel Robbins is someone that I listen to all the time. One of the things that she always talks about is high-fiving yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror and high-fiving yourself. It might feel funny, but the thing that you have to understand is that you're doing this for yourself. Don't judge yourself, right? We're talking about not judging ourselves. If you have to look in the mirror and tell yourself positive affirmations, that is a place to start. Build from there. See what makes you happy and practice kindness to yourself. Invest into your personal growth. If you've made it this far into the video, you are investing into your personal growth. You are continuously seeking opportunities of learning how to change your life, how to be a better person, and you're seeking personal development. There's different areas of personal growth: emotional, financial, relationship. One of the things that has really helped me is by setting goals, by going into the different areas of personal development that I want to focus on at that time, and setting goals, setting short-term goals, setting long-term goals, and put action into that plan. Once you start achieving one goal, two goals, multiple goals, it is going to build up your confidence and continue to move you forward to see more growth. When you are defining and setting your goals, have them aligned to your values and your aspirations in life. Also, embrace the challenges as an opportunity for growth rather than obstacles. Life is not easy, and I don't think it's ever going to be easy, but the way that you approach a challenge can define the way that you move within this life. Are you going to approach the challenge as a victim? That's what I was doing. Every time a challenge came up, I was a victim and I was depressed. I was accepting the circumstance. I was taking no accountability on my part on how I was reacting to it, and therefore I felt not good enough. When I started to make my mind shift and seeing challenges as an opportunity to grow and a lesson learned, and I was approaching it differently, my life started seeing different results because I was no longer allowing that challenge and that situation to define me. I was more so focused on what I learned from this to then move forward instead of just being defeated. That is not something I wanted to accept anymore. Surround yourself with positivity. You will see once you start showing up for yourself, you start feeling better, you start to radiate a more positive energy, and you start to attract people that are now aligned to the life that you are creating. The more positive that you are, the more that you attract that. Be around people that encourage your well-being, your growth. Also create a space that reflects your values and inspires you. Personally, for me, when my my home is a mess, my mind is a mess, and it is so hard for me to focus and to move forward. But when I just get going and I clean up and I put things away and I maintain that space, I am in better flow. When I started to prioritize that, a lot of things started to change for me. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Oh man, there is some days where I let myself go, I let my place go, and it happens. But at least I know and identified it. So when I start just put everything away, it then trickles down and it helps me get into the space that I know is going to be helpful for me. That's how I show up for myself. I started to prioritize that because I knew that that was going to affect my mental well-being. The last thing before I close out this video, you are surrounding yourself with positivity, and that means that you need to remove the toxic people out of your life. They need to go. I know it's hard, especially if these are long-term friendships, long-term relationships that you have. Listen to how you feel when you're with that person, when you leave that person. How is your energy? If it is not an energy that you align with or that your future self aligns with, it is time to reflect, is this person or a good environment for the future self that I am working towards? Be honest with yourself. Only you can make that decision, and you have to be honest, and it might hurt, but it is very, very important that you do so. In conclusion, remember, showing up for yourself is an ongoing process. Celebrate your progress, be patient with yourself, and embrace the journey. As I continue to go on this journey, I keep on shedding my younger self, and she becomes less and less familiar. When that mental shift happens, it is strange, almost surreal, but I think it's something that just happens regardless, because you are evolving as a person and you are shedding the past. That is a whole nother topic for a whole nother video that I am happy to share. I hope that you gain some extra tools if you are looking to show up for yourself a bit more. I believe in you. It is worth it. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe. Share this with anybody that you feel needs some encouragement. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.